a lot of people are probably here because if they watch this, they're curious about just you in general. And I kind of just hope they stick along for what I was curious to ask you about.
People think that I have this dirt on my ex-wife that I'm holding or I'm protecting. My life, like I try to be an open book though. You know what I mean? Like I've tried to just be myself, stay genuine, like you said, and that's seems to work for me. And like I wear my heart on my sleeve, always have. It's gotten me in trouble in the past and it's helped me. I mean, it's just me. And
Yeah,
that's the only person I can be. I'm not trying to be anybody else.
that's
So
right. For me, I just think it's easier because then I don't have to like keep up with stories
oh,
and
absolutely.
like
And
all
yeah,
that.
you can just be yourself. You don't have to fake it till you make it. Like you can
Right.
just, yeah, it's the only way for me.
Magic melon.
So, Ryan, if you were going to meet somebody brand new that didn't know you, I mean, a lot of people are probably here because if they watch this, they're curious about just you in general and are an open minded person and they're interested in learning or they're interested in hearing about our health journeys. Maybe there's something
Okay,
that they could take away from that. Um, but
absolutely.
if you could kind of like maybe have a clean slate and if there's somebody that didn't know you, how would you like to describe yourself? Who is Ryan Anderson?
Ryan Anderson is a funny, gentle, caring person. I like to call myself a Southern gentleman because my definition of a gentleman is to make somebody feel comfortable when they're with me. So my idea is to, if I meet you, you're gonna feel comfortable in my space because I'm going to make you feel like, you know what I mean? Not make you, but I'm going to give that warming, inviting, aura. That's,
Yeah.
somebody once told me I have my own vibe around me. And I was kind of like, I don't know, I mean, like, I'm like, but I kind of do have my own vibe. I'm my own person. I'm my own thing. And, I would just tell people I'm just a lovable, friendly teddy bear, basically. Yeah.
Yes, I see that in you. Do you think
Yeah.
that there's any I don't know, like misunderstandings or misconceptions of what you're not that people think about you?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of those, like a lot of people, like I said, who I married, my ex-wife, people want to give me hate because of the things she did in life.
Oh,
And that's not necessarily fair, but I get it because I'm lumped in. Like that's my story was a part of her. Like, we were married, so our stories combined for the time being.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like we were combined, we were one. And so I understand, but I told her a long time ago, I forgive your past, forgive me of mine, and we just go from there. So, you know, people, one misconception of me that people think that I have this dirt on my ex-wife that I'm holding or I'm protecting. You know what I mean? Like I'm protecting her. That's one misconception that I dislike. Now, when I was married to her, yes, it was my job to protect her.
Mhm.
I wanted that job. I did it well. Um, it's one of those where like that's the job I signed up for. You know what I mean? She was my wife. I was trying to protect her. And now, you know, people think I'm protecting her now by not divulging this hidden information that could get her in trouble or whatever. And that's one misconception. It's not true. Now, do I have information about my life with her? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, do I know things that people don't know? Absolutely. I mean, like, I was connected to her. But, you know, the misconception of that I have this dirt that could bury her and I'm not doing it because I'm that's one thing I'm like, I don't understand that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm just not I don't know. It's not like she told me something about that infamous night that I'm holding hostage, and it's not. No, I mean, but other misconception is people think that I'm desperate, or Gypsy tried to paint me as a desperate person early on after she left, or like a lot of things. Like there was a lot of things said, when she first left me that were not true. You know what I mean? They later came out as not true. So, I mean, I've done a good job of showing people who I really am.
Yeah.
So, one misconception that I don't like is the fact that people think I'm hiding something or protecting. It's not my job to protect anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair to say, and to clear the air on, because I do think that's a big thing people wonder and think, but it's also a natural reality that like it's not just her life part, your part of her story, it's your life and your story, and it wasn't even in my opinion like just the marriage that sometimes people see as kind of a whirlwind, but you spent years like emotionally connecting and supporting and involving
Absolutely.
yourself, and like that's
Absolutely.
that's something that then, like you said, by the time you get married, you feel like you're fused as one, and like that is your person and your partner and your other half, and then when the separation happens, it's kind of like your soul being split in half and ripped from you, and that's a trauma. That's a lot to go through. I mean, it takes how time to reconcile then, like coming up with your narrative of your story and your life and like what it all means and how you're going to pick it up and move forward. And I don't think people have given you enough grace for like just being respectful of her during that process, because like yes, there's mess and things are going to be said here and there, but like I think for the most part, like you have been, and that's if you're holding things back, it's because you're not just telling like every little petty fight you ever had or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
I mean, like I, it's it's not my job to destroy her or ruin her reputation. It's not. That's never what my goal was. So, you know, yes, people know me because of who my ex-wife was or is. Like I do understand that. But the thing is, I'm still my own person, and you know, one thing I can't stand is when people are like, "Oh, move on already." But it's like I've never talked about it, and now that I'm kind of starting to willing to talk about it, people are like, "Move on already." And I'm like, "Well, I haven't even said anything." You know what I
right?
mean? Like I'm like I haven't even expressed how I felt, and like I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Yes.
And it's one of those like, people want to hear my side, and then you got people on the other side. It's like, who cares? Move on with your life. And it's like, how have I not? You know what I mean? Like I'm continuing to grow every day. Like I've had to, like you said, like marriage is a rip separation, and there's been a lot that's happened. Like it's a mind, like it's messed with. Like there's a lot of trauma there,
Yeah.
but and then I just I have some people give me a lot of grace. A lot of grace, a lot. I have a lot of support and a lot of fans and a lot of followers, and I love that. Like I call them Team Ryan.
Team Ryan.
And yeah, people are like, "What is Team Ryan? Who are you against?" I'm like, "We're not against anybody." You know what I mean? It's like we're just
And
a
that's the
group.
only team. you know?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, people are like, "Who are you fighting against?" I'm like, "Nobody. It's just us."
Yeah.
That's what I like to call my supporters, my group.
Yes.
Um,
Everybody has that.
and
That's like a
I've grown that, and
yeah.
I've grown that,
Yeah.
and like people, and I love messages are like, "What is Team Ryan?" I'm like, "Well, I can't really explain it. It's a group of people who support each other. That's the way I look at it."
Yes.
And yeah, I've grown a lot. I've been through a lot, and it's just one of those where like I'm still growing. When my ex-wife first left, people were like begging me to tell the story. Like, please tell what happened. And I wasn't ready to do it. I was
Yes.
processing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I'm the type that has to process and think. And I love when people are like, "Oh my God, just move on. She left you." Da, 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 da. I'm like, well, there's more to it than just that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
The process
we went
drug
through a little,
out, in many
right,
ways, I'm sure. Yeah.
in many ways. Like, I mean, if you were watching, you saw, like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But it is what it is. And you just continue to grow and you try anyway. So,
Well, I think it's probably, what, have it been like is it 2 years now or so since everything got
uh,
all whirlwind changed up? And
she got out 2 years ago, like in December, this past December. And, you know,
to me, it
I
feels
haven't
like
seen her
yesterday.
since. It feels like yesterday, right? Like, I mean, a lot has happened, but, people think when she left, that was the end of it. No, a divorce is many things. And we talked and you know what I mean? So, like, honestly, it's been like 6 months to me that we haven't
Yeah.
talked. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So, like, that's the truth. Like, we haven't talked in 6 months. And people don't realize, they're like, "Oh my God, she left you so long ago." But, like, emotionally, did she? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people don't realize everything that happened. They don't.
No. And
You know, I mean, the show ended what, 6 months ago, if that.
that's like,
Yeah, it's been over 6 months.
I couldn't imagine having your whole life like that type of situation like on a spotlight too, because I can even imagine like the situations I've been through. One of my first really horrible my first true love that I really like deeply attached to because I was young and naive and whatever, and like when he cheated on me and broke up with me, like it tore me apart, and it took me years of trying to just fix my mind. And I think that mental health is a huge part of health. Like I ended up with
Absolutely.
like physical issues dealing with my mental issues. And
I,
that's been a process.
I believe it. I believe the mind and the body are connected.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. I tell people all the time in my live stream, like, if you wake up and tell yourself, oh, I don't feel good, I don't like today's going to be a terrible day. Well, guess what? You're going to have a terrible day.
Mhm.
Like, it's just the way it works. The mind does control the body, in my opinion.
It does. And it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing too, where that's what you look
I like
for,
that.
if you're thinking about that.
I
So
like that.
with you,
Yeah.
like I mean, thinking about it has been a process to overcome and just probably get to a place where you feel like your head's on straight. Like, where are you now? How do you feel now?
I am still, you know, it's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like, it's still a lot to process, a lot to reflect, a lot to deal with, a lot. You know, I get on a live stream and people ask me questions. Okay. And I try to overlook them, try to this, try to that. And then sometimes I'll speak on it. And, you know, people are like, you just got to move on to tear that band aid. Like, stop digging in the wound, basically. Right. Well, it's like I've never dug in it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's kind of nice to get that, like an infection out of the wound. Like, clean it out.
That's
Like, get
right.
rid of it. And like, I've never said anything about it. So it's like I'm in the process of now, like, really, because I put a band aid over it for so long, right? Where I just focused on my day to day. Just tried not to even look at it, tried not to even focus. People don't realize that. They're like, oh my God, he's obsessed. I'm like, no, I really wasn't. Like, I was trying to focus on other things in my life.
Mhm.
And I just put a band aid over it. And now I'm starting to peel that band aid away. And the wound's still there.
Mhm.
But it's like now I kind of want to peel the band aid away, look at it, clean it out.
Clean it up. Yeah.
And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It's like I'm trying to clean out that wound
I think
because
that's
it
really healthy. I mean, frankly, that sounds like when people say like, you got to shine a light on it, or if you ever hear of shadow work or something like that, where that's what it's all about is looking inward at the hard stuff that hurts and allowing yourself to feel it and understand it and sit with it and then figure out how you're going to integrate it and then let it go, like
now, believe me, I felt it. Just because I put a band-aid on it doesn't mean I didn't feel it, but I think it's healthy. I mean, you know, I can't live in it forever. And people are like, oh my God, move on. You've lived in it. I was like, I really haven't. I've tried to live away from it. Now, what's crazy is if I get on a live or TikTok, people assume I'm eating it up. You're staying in it. And it's like, well, that's how I grew my people. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, I get support from my Team Ryan. I get
yeah.
support. And when I was at my lowest, Team Ryan helped me. So it's like, I got to go live, spend time with my people. Like,
It's
even
like a
if
little
it's for an hour.
community.
Yeah, even if it's for an hour, it's my people. And like, yeah, there's people in there trying to tear it down, but I call those people destroyers, not builders, because I like
Mhm.
to build.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
I think that I mean this is the kind of stuff that I think is interesting for people to hear just how you think, because I think that's healthy in my opinion. I would like to know, do you feel like with everything that you've gone through mentally that it has impacted your physical health? Have you seen changes in like how you feel, or your routines being impacted or anything like that?
Now, at first, yeah, of course. Like, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I lost weight because I was not eating, like, of course, I felt those immediate impacts. Those are immediate. But luckily I've had a dog, Pixie. luckily kept me active.
Yeah.
So I didn't just wallow, and I had, I was a teacher, so I was able to get out there. And there were days where I was just like at work, like, oh, I wish I was at home in bed, or I don't want to deal with it. But my routine made me get out of that.
Yeah.
So, right now I don't have a teaching job, so it's like I'm in it, but I'm not at the same. Like I'm trying to, burrow my way out, and I'm finally able to start looking at things and processing like healthy ways, and not just, oh, poor me. It's, but luckily I've had a dog to keep me moving, keep me active even now. I mean, you know, Pixie's been amazing. Pixie was godsend to me.
I think she
That's the way
was
I
a
look at it.
godsend for you. I love you and
Thank
Pixie. I
you.
think it's one of the just a bright light and seeing somebody's like pure love for their baby, their dog, their fur baby, and how she. I mean, I totally get that because it reminded me just then, like when I got my first dog, the one that's with me now. I have two, but the one that's with me now, when I first got him, I was like so deeply depressed, and he got me out of bed, like you said. Like I was like, I have to feed the dog, I have to walk the dog, I have to go, you know what I mean? And like that's what got
Yeah,
me moving and doing things, and that's you know a
believe me, I
minimum. You
know.
got to build
Yeah,
on that, but it's a good way to get you going, right? At least keep you feeling like you
absolutely.
have purpose.
You know, I look back, and when it first happened, I was like, I didn't want to take her outside. I didn't want to sunlight, and it does get you out. It gets you moving. Like I couldn't just lay around all day.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where like Pixie gave me a routine to keep me active. So I'm thankful for Pixie. So
Yeah. Okay, so if you think then like if you imagine like what does wellness mean to you, where if you're feeling your best and you're thinking I'm thriving, I'm healthy, like what does that mean to you?
I mean, number one, you have to get a good amount of sleep. Like you're sleeping, you can't oversleep. You know what I mean? Like you can oversleep and your body feel, it's crazy when you oversleep. I feel more tired than when I undersleep.
Mhm.
So that's a weird thing. So, oversleeping can be an issue. Um, if I'm feeling good and I'm in the moment, like it's just you're thriving. You know what I mean? Like it's just a vibe. Like you feel good. You want to do things. You want to get out. You want to experience life, or you want to watch a show that you've done. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
my thing is I love watching television. I'm not gonna lie. I love movies and I love television. Now I like movies on my television. I'll say that. Like I'm not a big TV show guy, but so I like watching television, and I like going out. I like doing things. I'm not very adventurous as far as wanting to go hiking, but as far as going out and having fun, absolutely. I like doing that.
Yeah. Like correct me if I'm wrong, but is your apartment complex set up like with the pool and things, like could you
Oh,
go swimming
absolutely.
and do pool stuff and things like that
Oh,
with their or
absolutely.
your community events that they have and all that?
Oh, absolutely. I have friends. I met some good friends through my apartment complex. They have a pool here. They have outside grills. They have Pixie's part of the community here. I walk around and I have different people that I walk to. Like if Pixie loves kids. I will say it. Pixie loves little kids. She runs up to little kids all the time. There's like a group of them who I'm friends with their parents, and Pixie always runs up to them, so excited to see them. So yeah, you kind of develop a community with people here. There's one lady I talk to all the time, Miss Lynn. I love seeing her. One of my good buddies, Jacob. I met through the apartment complex. So you that is very healthy, and to do the stuff like that, but I also like to go out to ball games. Like I'm very into sports. So when LSU's in football, I always go to LSU games. I've gone to baseball games. Like I'm a big sports guy. I'm not gonna
Yes.
lie there.
Yes.
So, I get out and I like to do sports. I wear jerseys. People are always like, "Oh, you wear jerseys?" And I'm like, "Because they're comfortable and I like them."
Yes.
So yeah.
And it does have that like social bond too, and I think all of these things are parts of wellness. To me, um, like the number one goal should be that I'm able to live a quality life doing the things that I enjoy and love to do, and I have like the energy and motivation to do that. And whatever equation got me there, great. But it is a variety of things. I mean, I love that you started off just mentioning like sleep, and then your routines with your dog, and then how your environment is set up and creates a social atmosphere for you, and how your hobbies of like getting out and watching sports. I mean, that's fresh air, or that's mental health, and I think that's just really, it's really great to hear about those things. um,
I mean, I'm a little bummed. It's WrestleMania week, and I wanted to go to WrestleMania. It was in Las Vegas, and I'm really bummed because I wanted to go. I had a hotel room and everything, and it just fell through. Tax season. What can you do? Taxes come up. I mean, just being
yes.
honest. So it was like it fell through, but like I love going to a WrestleMania because you're with all your wrestling people. Like that's the ultimate event to me is this week in wrestling. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan or nothing like that or know any wrestling fans, but we are a tight community.
Nice.
So it's this one week where I'm a little bummed, but I'm all excited because this weekend I'm getting together with my friends and we're planning this and planning that. So it's one of those things where like this is my favorite week to be a wrestling fan. So yeah,
Yes.
so I'm excited. We find fun things to do. It's funny when I live stream, I sit on my couch, I sit with Pixie, and it's funny. People are like, "You never do anything on your live. Like you're sitting there talking. You're never like, do you ever go out do anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, all the time. I just when I'm live streaming, this is where I'm
This
live
is fun.
streaming from. Like, it's not that this is all I do. And it's one of those things. Is like, no, I get out and do stuff all the time. It's just funny when people are like, "Oh my God, he's on his couch again." I'm like, "Well, yeah, because when I'm out and about with my friends or something, I want to be with my friends.
Yes,
You
be
know what I mean?
present.
I want to be present in the moment. Like one thing that bothers me, and I see it all the time, I get it, when people are at a concert and they're watching the concert through their phone. And that's one thing that drives me bonkers because I'm like, what are you doing? Watch the concert, be there.
Yes.
There's better video of the concert. I guarantee it that you could buy later.
Someone else
You
is
know,
also capturing this. There will be footage.
right, right. Like, yeah. So that's one of my pet peeves is at a concert or if I went to a wrestling show, people film. Like, I get taking pictures or filming something, but the whole event through your phone, no,
Yeah,
no,
you
I
got to
can't
be
do that.
present. Yeah, enjoy
You
it.
gotta
And
be in the moment.
even
Yeah.
in that situation too, like what you're describing. I mean, like IRL lives are fun sometimes, but it's either hard to fully engage in what you're doing or fully engage with the chat. And your chat is probably the kind of chat that likes you to engage with them and talk to them. Like maybe they'd like to watch whatever
Well,
you're out doing, but that's really what they're there for.
it's crazy. I go on pixie walks. That's what I call them. So like I have my stick and my selfie stick and I'm walking pixie and like, so I'm doing that, but then I come back and sit on my couch and talk. But there are moments where like I have gone live when I'm at an LSU football game and I'll do that. And I try in my lives, I like to talk to people. Like it's one of those where like the comments are my chat.
Hmm.
And I try to catch as many as I can. It's crazy. People are like, why do you read all the negative comments? Well, those are the ones that are like, bam, in your face because they're so not true. Like some of the stuff is just blatantly untrue. So, of course, that's the things that you notice because you're like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yes,
Or like, why would they say that? Or, you know, they try to rage bait me a
they
lot.
do.
They
There
want
are
me to.
trolls. They will say stuff just to get you all flustered or feisty. Yes, that
And then
happens.
when you do, then when I kind of want to know what's it like on the other end. Like if they get me a rage bait, or they're like, "Yes, I got him." Are they celebrating with their friends? Are they just? I mean, it's one
Like
of those where,
alone
like,
in
if
the
you get
dark,
me,
pissing somebody
yeah,
off,
what
right?
is
Like,
your, yeah, like, what is your goal here?
yes, so
Like, do you
weird.
feel better about your life? But
There's
I
all
can't
kinds of
lie, I have
entertainment
fans.
on the internet, so it's just a strange way to spend your time.
Exactly, and I get it. I'm not even gonna lie. I have a family member who that's his enjoyment is getting you riled up or getting you like people find enjoyment in doing that. And I've just never been one of those people. I don't know.
Right. Well, sometimes, people might have genuine questions too, but the rule I heard recently is don't get one guy to bother the chat. Don't focus on the one guy too hard that's trying to piss you off, and the rest of the people there are genuinely there to support you.
Like when I'm live streaming with Team Ryan, I want to be there with them. And, I get people like, please quit reading the negative. And it's like, I'm trying. Like, you're right. Don't focus on it. You're right. And people do like my lives because I am upbeat.
Yes.
And, I'm not gonna lie. There's some days where I don't feel it. I don't feel to be upbeat, and I don't go live. Like here recently, I took a break for like 2 weeks, and people were messaging me like, "Where have you been? What is going on?" And it's just like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it.
Yes.
And like I'm not gonna get on a live and be in a bad mood. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point in that? Then I'm really giving people the trolls what they want.
Yeah, because
You
people
know what I
do
mean?
generally know you as an upbeat, bubbly, funny guy. Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
but it's important that too that you shared that. I don't know. People have ups and downs, and times they need a mental break, and times they're not feeling on like characterizing themselves almost because I mean that's what I've been
Right.
working on too with making content and things live streams or whatever is just who do I want to be? How do I want to present myself? Because I want to be the most authentic version of myself that I can be. But then being on the internet, you also like have to consider your lane, your audience, your goals, like your safety. There's other things in mind. So it's a balance.
It's funny. People have told me I need to find my niche or, like my group. And it's funny. I like all kind of things. Like I don't, when people are finding your
Jack of
audience,
all
I'm not
trades.
going to lie. Most of my audience are females.
Yeah.
I mean, and I get it because I was on the show on Lifetime. You know what I mean? Like if I was on the show on ESPN, I'd have all guys. But you know what I mean? So it's funny. I'm a guy. I like doing guy things, but my audience is mostly female. So it's like, it's one of those that I battle with because I'm like,
What do
I'm
I
not
do
going to
with
put on
that?
makeup. I'm
Yeah.
not going to talk makeup or lotion. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, because I'm a guy. But I respect my female audience. I love that my audience is mostly female. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's cool because I guess they can sense my heart is on my sleeve.
I'm a female and I watch Ryan. So you do have a female audience. And so I like the chance just to give you a conversation so people can hear you're a real guy and working through things. And we all deal with like these type of challenges, I think. Like everybody has something
Absolutely.
like this going on in their life.
And
Um,
I've never been a person to be like, oh, my problems are more important than yours. Like that's not the type of person I am. So when people in the chat tell me what's going on, I genuinely are like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I'm not one of them people that think my issues are more important than what you have going on. I've never been that type of person.
yeah,
Because like you said, we all deal with things. We all have part of my like shit that we have to deal with on
right.
a constant. I mean, it's life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I'm the type of person, I'm not going to add on to it like, I'm not going to make your day worse.
Right.
Like I said, I'm a gentleman. I'm trying to make your day better.
I like that. Like we've talked about other aspects of like health and wellness, and I want to know about your current relationship with food and how it
Okay.
compares to maybe like other points in your life, whether that be like living at home when you were young or when you're married, like just kind
Okay.
of thinking about where you're at today and how it compares to other times in your life.
Okay. When I was in high school, I'll be honest, I was big. I was a big kid, and when you said earlier you had an eating disorder, I can relate to that. I became bulimic in high school.
Too.
And I legit went from my junior year, I lost from junior to senior year, like in that span of 6 months, I ended up losing 90 pounds. Yeah, like I can show you a picture of my junior yearbook to my senior yearbook, two completely different people.
Wow.
And I remember it was like I played football, so I got on the scale in the weight room and I weighed 311. And I remember looking at my buddy. I'm like, I'm a junior in high school and I weigh that. And he was like, yeah, Ron, we need to lose weight. Well, I started doing it the unhealthy way. Like
Hmm.
I was working out and everything, but then I became bulimic. And, bulimia turns into anorexia, it turns into all that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like they're all connected. But so I ended up losing a lot of weight. And of course, got a girlfriend, you get social life, and it's one of those things where I still struggle with that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, because you have those tendencies.
Yeah.
Like, so if like I overeat, but it's crazy now. I can't really overeat because now I have a gastric sleeve. Like I
Mm.
mean, because after high school and everything in life happens, I ended up blowing back up to. I'll tell you the truth. I got to 477 pounds,
Okay. Wow.
and I was big. Like I was
Did you
20.
feel different at that size? Like, did
Yeah, you start to feel unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like it was just like you couldn't do the things you want to do, or like going to a football game was like, oh, I'd be sweating like profusely, and it just wasn't fun. So I was lucky enough, fortunate enough my mother offered, I graduated college, and my mother offered to get me a gastric sleeve. Well, I ended up losing like 100+ pounds. So I'm back to where I was like in high school, but I'm taller, I'm bigger, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I'm still a big guy. I'm always going to be a big guy, but you know, I'm not 477 pounds,
yeah,
like I ended up losing a lot of weight. And so now I can't purge to be bulimic. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
but when you have that eating disorder, they all combine. And
The way you
losing
think
90
about it
pounds,
is so different. Yes.
yeah. And so now when I eat like a bird. Like honestly, I eat like a bird. Now my downfall, I love sodas. I love Dr. Pepper. I even have a Dr. Pepper light over there. Like that is my downfall. And I love sweets. Like it's crazy. When I was in high school, I never cared for like sodas. I didn't care. Like I drank Hawaiian Punch. Like I never a soda guy. But as I got older, I started drinking more sodas, and now I love candy. I got to quit eating candy, but that's my
Sweet
downfall
tooth.
right now is sodas and candy.
Yes.
And I'm just being honest. But yeah, like I have to eat but meals I have to eat like a bird. It's crazy. But my downfall is sodas right now. I'm just being honest.
I love that. I mean, that honesty is so huge, and I appreciate your vulnerability, and I just so appreciate you sharing that because I related so much to what you were saying, and it's just interesting to me how people have I don't know, just misconceptions. I was thinking about when you said when you first lost that 90 pounds, I bet there was a situation where somebody's like, "You're losing weight, great, good job," and you're
Oh,
like feeling
absolutely.
good and feeling right about it, but they don't know the full picture,
They
and they
don't
don't
know what
know
I'm actually doing.
how,
Oh man.
yes, exactly what it's doing
I
to you.
remember I remember I had one friend. What up, Ryan Bonner? I love you still, man. Wherever you at, man, I miss you. Um, we went to eat, and he was skeptical because like he was. I remember this. I was a senior in high school, and he's like, Ryan, you lost a lot of weight. But we went out to eat, and I remember he watched me for like 45 minutes after to make sure I didn't go to the bath. Like I knew he like in my
You're
head, I'm
like,
like, he knows.
he's watching. He
He
knows. You
knows.
can
Yeah. Because
something's
like I
up.
remember him watching me for like 45 minutes. Like everywhere I go, he's like, where are you going? Where are you going? So I had to drink a lot of water. And when I got home, then I purged. But it's like, of course, you had all the people around me like, oh my God, you look great. All this, but they don't know what's really going on.
Yes.
It's funny. Some people thought I was on drugs. And I was like, I'm not. I'm just bulimic. You just don't know it. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
it's just
God.
crazy.
Even that, I mean,
Yeah.
I get that, and like there was a time in my life where I was when I got my smallest, but eventually, and people like my grandma or whatever was like, you need to start gaining weight. But I was like sick. I was not good. I was not healthy. I wasn't moving, and even though people might on the outside be like, oh, doing good, I couldn't like maybe like do my household chores for the day without being winded and needing to lay back down. And so
Yeah.
it's not really about the size. It is health is a totally different thing, and I don't know. People have misconceptions about that.
Exactly. Like, how healthy are you? If That's great. You can fit into a size small, but you can't do many things because you don't eat. Like,
Right.
how healthy are you? Like, that's great. Like,
Yes.
like, but are you really healthy on the inside? So I can relate to that 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's health is like it's a spectrum of things, and food is a big part of it, but our relationships to food are so personal and so complicated, and there's like we get comfort from it and nostalgia from it and
Absolutely.
enjoyment and socialization, like it's tied up in so many things. But I also believe food is medicine, and like and some situations and conditions you can heal through eating certain foods or the right balance of foods. And so you have to find the balance. But I'm like you, like I started off the top of this conversation being like, I know all of these things, but I'm being honest and saying like I don't always like live it and apply it to myself perfectly. Like I
Right.
I I was recently, sorry, I'll try to keep this quick, but I was recently pregnant, and the pregnancy was like horrible because I was sick the whole time, like just the whole time, horrific, and other things I was dealing with personally. And then once I had the baby, I was maybe like the smallest I had ever been, and now I'm technically the heaviest I've ever been because the post baby I gained like 40 pounds, and because I was just like, I don't know, stuffing down Rice Krispie treats every day and like eating tubs of ice cream and just like sugar, sugar, sugar. So sugar is my crutch, and at first I needed it for energy, but once I stopped breastfeeding, it was like now I'm trying to fix my habits and get back to normal. And so I don't know, it's real. Like I know the right thing to do, and so now I have to work on like moderation, but I'm not going to cut out my sweet entirely. I'm not going to cut out my sodas entirely. You have to find what
You
works for
know,
you.
what's funny is I love that you said that. Like, yeah, we all know the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course we know the right thing to do, but it's applying it to your everyday that is hard.
That's the hard part.
But like I know sodas are bad for me. If I quit drinking sodas, I'd probably still be losing weight from my gastric sleeve. I understand, but I need that caffeine rush. I need, you know what I mean? Like
The
I don't
need
drink
outweighs
coffee.
that.
Soda's my caffeine. Right. So I like that you said that. Right.
It's just real, and now too. I mean, the reality too of like that choice, is helping you be healthier. But now you're having to change your whole life and your diet and eating like a bird. And some people choose to eat like a bird. Some people have to. It's just different for everybody.
Right.
Well, what?
Well, it does stink when you go out to eat and you have to get a to go plate right away. I mean, like it makes the person you're out to eat with feel uncomfortable some aspects because they want to eat and then like I'm like I'm the bigger guy. I'm the bigger guy and they want me to eat more and I'm like I'm full. That's one thing that I dislike, but
Are
it's
you? Do
what it
you
is.
do a lot of like I don't know, like leftovers or meal prep or anything like that?
Well, I'm a big leftover guy. Like because like I said, I go out to eat. I have leftovers. I mean, it just is what it is, and I don't, you know, I don't like wasting things. I'm a type of person that doesn't like to be wasteful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I eat leftovers, but there's a certain point where it gets to where you can't eat that anymore. Like you got to throw that away. You got to throw, and I do that. So
Yes.
it's like every Sunday I clean out my refrigerator now
Oh,
because
that's a
like
good
I
routine.
know, yeah, because I know I have to. You know what I mean? So
I'm a food hoarder because I don't like waste either. So I'll be like, I'm gonna eat that. If there's a bite of that, I'll eat it tomorrow. I mean, I plan it out, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But that's my agreement with my spouse too. Is like, if it doesn't get eaten by the end of the week, like you gotta toss that.
you got to
So
toss it. Yeah, you got to. Like, you got to let it go. It's not that big a deal. You got to let something else will come along. That's what I tell
he's like,
myself.
I promise, I will take you to get more
That's
food if
right.
you really need it.
That's right. Like, you're not going to starve. Like, throw it out. I like that.
Well, I have two more questions for you, Ryan. The
Okay.
first would be, okay, so thinking about your health and wellness and well-being now, is there anything that is like top of mind that you're still working towards or like a goal that you have?
Of course, you always just try to be healthy, right?
Yeah.
You always want to do the health thing. And I'm lucky that Pixie gets me out for walks. So, like, we walk a lot. Like, if you ever around my apartment complex, you'll see I have different routes set up. Because I'm like one day I'm like, all right, let's go this route, Pixie. So, it's one of those things I call it like going by the gate. Like there's a route where we go by the gate, and I have one where it's like a quick walk, and so yeah, you just try to be more healthy. I mean, everybody's gonna fall short. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to fall short. You have to tell yourself that it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but you just have to get back up and try to do good. It's okay to splurge, but I mean, try to do the healthy thing if you can,
Yes.
but sometimes you're just like, I don't want to.
What what motivates you? Pixie sounds like she's a motivator. Is there anything else intrinsically that if you think of why do I want to be healthier? Why do I want to feel good?
Well, yeah, you have to have those influences. You have to, right? It's just, of course, I have Pixie, but I have my nephew. Nephew keeps me young, keeps me doing stuff, and just being around. You want to be around. You know what I mean? Like, there's things in life that I want to accomplish. So you got to be healthy for those things, right? Like, I do want a kid of my own. Like, that's my win. ex-wife got pregnant, that hurt because that's what we were working towards. And there's somebody once said, you're almost 40. I'm like, yeah, but guys can have kids till they're in their 60s, but it's finding the right person to do that with. So yeah, you want to, it's just one of those things. You got to be healthy to get partners. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, and if you have kids, to be able to like keep up, take care of them, live a long life, you know?
Yeah,
So I love that. That's
absolutely.
amazing. So out of everything that you've been through and all that you've learned in your life and through your challenges, I feel like we're all our challenges are our lessons, you know, and our growth opportunities. So do you have any big takeaways, any like words of wisdom you'd want to share with anybody over what you've learned in life about this or anything?
Um,
First thing that comes to mind.
take one day at a time. Like, if you look at something and it looks like a daunting task, all right, it looks like it's so hard, just know you have to take one bite at a time. Like to build a house, you have to start at a foundation. So it's just, if you can accomplish one small goal a day, eventually you can accomplish anything. So that's my takeaway: is take one day at a time. You have a bad day, tomorrow will be better. You have to have that mindset. You have to have that faith. So
I love that. I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for your time. This has been a fun conversation, and I just really enjoy the opportunity just to hear more about you and your life. And like I said, it not being about all the noise and everything. I mean, that's just like a part of your life, but not the entirety of
absolutely.
who you are. And I think there's, I don't know, something everybody can learn from and take away, or even just maybe like will have a little bit more respect and love and light in their heart after maybe seeing you as a person. So,
I like that. Melon, I've enjoyed it. I've
yeah,
enjoyed it very much. I
great.
do enjoy it. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, this was awesome.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate your time so much. This has been fun, and you're a great guy. And I hope people get to see a little bit more of who you really are. So thanks for sharing with me.
Absolutely. Bye, my friend.
Take care.